Am I the a-hole for telling my husband to leave after years of him threatening to walk out? I am 42 female and my husband is 44. We have been together since 2010 and married since 2014. We co-founded a company together. He is the technical partner, and I somehow ended up running everything else, such as operations, admin, finance, HR, and client management. I'm also the majority shareholder. For years, our fights have followed the same pattern. Whenever there is conflict, he threatens to leave. I have lost count of how many times I have heard him say he is done or he is leaving. Every time I would calm him down, reassure him, and try to fix the situation. This time, I could not do it anymore. The argument started because he messed up a client schedule. When I pointed it out, he immediately blamed a staff member, even though he never gave them the information they needed. This is something he does often. If something goes wrong, it is rarely his fault. Things escalated very fast. We both yelled. I am not pretending I was calm. I was tired and frustrated. In the middle of the fight, he said again that he was done and wanted to leave our home. For context, the home is a company-owned unit and not a personal marital property. After hearing that same threat for years, I snapped and said, "All right, if that is what you want, then leave. You have 48 hours." That is when everything flipped. Suddenly, I was the cruel one. He said I was throwing him out, that I did not care about his mental health, and that I was abusing my position as majority shareholder. I have never used my role against him in any way. Then he said he would not leave unless the company paid for the accommodation he wanted. The place he wants is far more expensive than anything we would approve for anyone else. We even have a decent temporary unit ready, but he refused it because he said he would not live there. At the same time, he still has full access to company systems, such as admin accounts, technical files, client information, and company-issued devices. I told him that if he leaves, he will need to turn over the company property. That is basic protocol and nothing personal. He said I was punishing him. The reality is that this fight did not come out of nowhere. It is the result of years of the same dynamic. He becomes defensive, positions himself as the victim, minimizes what I and the staff do, and every task he cannot keep up with eventually becomes my responsibility. Every major argument ends with him threatening to leave. This time I did not soothe him. This time I said he could go. Now he is telling people I am the cold, heartless wife who kicked him out and used my position against him. From my side, it feels like I finally set a boundary after years of emotional exhaustion. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for giving him 48 hours and telling him he would need to return company property if he leaves? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. He was trying to emotionally manipulate you for years, and now that you stood up for yourself, he's searching for other victims to manipulate, hence talking to others about how mean you are. And if you both go separate ways in the end, just take this as a lesson to not get in professional business with someone who has a close personal connection to you, be it a romantic partner, a parent, a close friend, or an offspring you might have in the future. It often ends up bad because there's always power imbalance in it, whether the power is being abused or not, because this power imbalance gets in people's subconsciousness. And for those who can't separate personal relationships with professional relations, like your husband, their subconsciousness gets them acting messy. You put something into words that I've been avoiding admitting. It really is tough when your partner doesn't treat you right professionally, because it does spill into the personal side no matter how hard you try to keep them separate. I've carried a lot of resentment quietly for years, because I kept telling myself it was just work stress, but it affects everything at home too. Seeing someone point it out so plainly makes me realize how much I've been holding in. Not the a-hole. Of course not. He's been using that threat against you to manipulate you for all these years, so he's mad that it's lost its power over you. The only thing he's a victim of is his own manipulativeness. Good riddance to the mentally abusive loser. Because he's abusive though, please watch out for your safety. Abuse escalates rapidly at times like these. Thank you for this. Every time I call out something he does, he tells me I'm the one abusing him, which has honestly made me question myself so many times and almost believed him. He always frames himself as the one who's hurt or neglected, even when he's the one who escalated or created the problem in the first place. I think I got so used to cushioning everything for him that I didn't realize how much he relies on flipping things back on me whenever he's confronted. This whole situation just made it clear how long that pattern has been happening. I appreciate the reminder to be careful too. I'm taking things step by step and trying not to let him rewrite what actually happened. Next story. Am I the a-hole for leaving when my husband said he'd help me in 30 days so we're on the page? I've been with my husband for 9 years, married for 7. We have 2 children, a 4-year-old and a 10-month-old. With my eldest, I had no issues. I gave birth, stayed home with her, and was able to function normally. Of course, there were some postpartum hormones, but nothing terrible. After the birth of my youngest, I slipped into postpartum depression. I was very overwhelmed and stressed. It started out as what I considered normal postpartum hormones, and I figured going from 1 to 2 is naturally hard. But as the months passed, things got worse. My anxiety and intrusive thoughts were getting more and more overwhelming. It took a very scary incident for me to seek help when my son was 8 months old. I thought I was just going to see a therapist, but ended up being admitted for 72 hours. After talking with a variety of professionals and my husband, we agreed it was best for me to seek further inpatient treatment. I was worried about my husband juggling the house and the kids, but thankfully, our village stepped up. We had 2 family friends who rotated watching our kids during the day at the respective friends' houses. Someone else stepped in to do laundry. Another person made meals. From what I've heard, they were doing their best to make sure my husband's life changed as minimally as possible, and the kids' routine remained the same. The only thing my husband had to do was put the kids to bed at night, get them ready in the morning, and clean around the house, as well as work. I knew it'd be tight, but he swore it'd be done. I was gone 30 days. My kids and husband visited me once a week. Things seemed fine. My husband just kept saying, "Worry about you." Before I left treatment, I had a few sessions with my husband where we both agreed he needed to step up more around the house, and I needed to be better about asking for help. I got home from treatment and the house was a mess. I don't think my husband cleaned it at all while I was gone. Our eldest's room hadn't been tidied either, toys and clothes strewn everywhere. It's then my husband chose to tell me that she refused to clean it up, and he didn't want to push it. The next day, I helped her clean it, and we had a talk about listening when mommy or daddy asks her to tidy up. It was a Saturday, and I asked my husband to please help me clean the house. He made excuses about how tired he was from work. I got upset and reminded him about our talk in therapy. He said that could start later and he had done all the work while I was gone, and it was my turn to catch up. I was in so much shock from the conversation that I just cleaned, but the rage slowly simmered. I ended up calling my therapist to work through the emotions, and she encouraged me to try talking to him again. I waited until the kids went to bed and first asked how he was doing. I let him talk about his feelings because I know me going away wasn't easy. Afterward, I shared my feelings and calmly said I was very frustrated that we talked about him helping me more, and already it wasn't happening. I asked how he would feel coming home after 30 days to a messy house. I pointed out that he had people taking the kids on the weekend. He had so many points, but I said I could also understand just being overwhelmed and not wanting to even help me that day really hurt. He told me again that I was overreacting and that he'll start helping me in 30 days because that's how long he was left to do it on his own. I ended up leaving that night. I took the kids and we went to stay with a relative. In the months since, we've seen each other. He takes the kids on the weekends. We're starting couples counseling soon, but I said I'm not sure if I want to stay in this relationship, given that he's weaponizing all this against me. He keeps telling me I'm crazy. My family's on my side, but his family is telling me that I overreact and am ungrateful. Our friends seem mixed. The ones who helped the most during that time are on my side and said if he had asked for help cleaning, they would have. I maintain I'm not leaving because I came back to a messy house, but rather his attitude when I returned. I'm also not saying I'm going to divorce him, just that we need massive counseling. Am I really in the wrong for this? Your husband does not sound like a good person. You are not the a-hole, in any way. 1. He called you crazy after you were at inpatient mental health treatment for 30 days. That is a terrible thing to say, and you can't convince me it wasn't intentional word choice. 2. People were making meals, doing the laundry, and watching the kids. Now that you are home, you are what? Expected to do all of that by yourself? And he thinks that's reasonable to provide some sort of cosmic balance to his world? Who the heck does he think he is? 3. What did your therapist say when you told them about this "you owe me 30 days" BS? Have you had a couple sessions since then? This man is horrible, and you deserve so much better. My therapist agreed with me leaving. She pointed out most of what you said. He had so much help when I was gone. The whole reason I got as bad as I did is I had no help, which is partially on me for not asking anyone, but it doesn't change that he had a whole village and I didn't. My therapist hasn't told me to divorce, but I can tell she'd be on board if I said I was going to. It sounds like nothing of value will be lost by leaving him. Why the doubt? Does he make your life better or easier or worse/harder? I wanted to try to make it work. I felt like it was my fault things were getting bad because my mental health took a dip. Now I see even with my eldest, he was barely helping and made a lot of excuses. And that's when I was in good shape. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my partner I'm tired of pausing my life for his video games? For context, I, 21 female, and my boyfriend, 24 male, have been dating for almost 2 years now. When he and I first met, we both worked a lot, and he was newer to town, so he wasn't playing his video games as often. He'd play if I was at school or working. Fast forward 6 to 7 months, and he and I are living together. Currently, he has been playing at least 8 hours a day, and we very rarely go to bed together anymore. Our intimate life is lacking, and I honestly feel neglected emotionally. There have been multiple times in the last month where he has been completely clueless about something I know I have spoken to him about, and he'll blame it on crappy selective hearing that all men have. Honestly, I feel that his actions recently have been inexcusable. I work full-time and am in nursing school. He finished school today and has yet to find a job. My final straw, though, was about 2 weeks ago. I'm on my way home from a 14-hour shift. I don't want to cook. I just want to relax and spend some time with my man. I call him asking if he's eaten and if he's hungry. He states that he hasn't eaten, but that he is hungry. I then tell him that I am on my way and will pick him up from home so we can go have dinner. He responds, "But I'm playing games with the boys." Fast forward, I come home after eating dinner and having a drink alone, and there he is playing World of Warcraft. I let out a sigh and go into my bedroom, where our basket of clean laundry was placed onto the bed and was unfolded. I fold and put the laundry away, proceed to shower, and lie down. He wakes me up 45 minutes later, asking what we're doing for dinner. I freaked out on him, telling him he's an adult and he can figure it out himself, and that I'm tired of pausing my life so he can live out some fantasy BS on a PC. I think the thing that's frustrating me is that he's shown me he can be better than this. Do I continue to ride it out and hope that this is just his way of maladaptively coping with being jobless? Or do I present an ultimatum? He woke you up, asking about dinner? With food in the house, presumably? Yet, he woke you up? That is correct. He didn't realize I had eaten dinner alone. I ended up blowing up on him about this Thanksgiving night and told him that I thought it was pathetic and childish to prioritize a video game over ensuring my investment was taken care of, spending time with someone and/or being intimate. He then said that he felt crappy about not having a job and that he has been applying to places, etc., which I know he has, and that he feels like everyone around him has just been hounding him for things he can't control at the moment. And I told him that there will be ups and downs with life. Times where the other person has to help out and hold the reins. However, he can control communication, respect, and effort. Is he applying to any job or a job that he wants? He needs to apply for anything if it's the latter. Otherwise, he might need to revise his resume and make it better. We both have revised his resume, and he is applying for anything. Last story. Am I the a-hole for wanting to pull my daughter from her art class after her friend told me my husband was flirting with her mom? My 44 female daughter, 13 female, does not have many friends at school and has been getting into trouble because of her behavior. We have been trying to get her involved in more activities so she can meet new people. She started an art class a few months ago and it seemed to be going well. She gets along with the girls there, and she is especially connected with one friend, 14 female. I have met this friend's mom a few times while picking my daughter up. About 3 months ago, the mom told me she was considering taking her daughter out of the group because of her work schedule. Then she directly asked if I could pick her daughter up every week and drop her off at their house. It felt like a pretty bold thing to ask, especially since we did not know each other very well. But I checked the address, and it was an easy detour for me, so I agreed. Over time, I got to know my daughter's friend a bit more, and honestly, I have mixed feelings about her. She comes across as kind of mean. She gossips a lot and says nasty things about the other girls in the class. For about a month, I could not do the pickups because of work, so my husband handled it. He never complained or mentioned anything unusual. Last week, when I started doing pickups again, my daughter's friend made a strange comment. She referred to my husband as my ex-husband. When I corrected her, she said she just assumed we were divorced. I asked why, and she said it was because of how my husband and her mom flirted with each other whenever he dropped her off. She said it as if it were a joke. My daughter was in the car but did not say anything. I became upset and told her to stop lying, but she told me to ask my husband if he had offered to come to their house and fix their pool heater. That sounded completely made up, because my husband knows nothing about pool heaters. That night I asked him, and to my surprise, he admitted he had said that. He told me it was just a throwaway comment to be polite, and he never planned to actually do it. We had a big argument. He denies having done anything inappropriate beyond that. Now I am considering taking my daughter out of the class. I do not want our family involved with that other family at all, but at the same time, this girl is my daughter's only real friend right now, and she loves the class. I am not sure what to do. You could tell the kid's mom that you can no longer provide transportation for her daughter. Cut out the threat while not punishing your daughter. Sounds like the only threat is the husband, who either started flirting with a woman or didn't nip it in the bud when she started it. I feel like you are creating a tempest in a teapot. Your whole suspicion of your husband is based on wobbly info. 1. He offered to help with a pool heater, okay? Didn't you agree to help this woman driving her daughter around for the rest of the year yourself? Why are you allowed to help this woman but not your husband? 2. The word of an unreliable teenager whose whole life seems to be about gossips and saying nasty and mean things about others. Have your husband ever given you reasons not to trust him? Unless there is a past we don't know about. And you're the a-hole for thinking of pulling your daughter from an activity she enjoys. If he is really flirting with this woman, don't take it out on your daughter. She has nothing to do with this situation. This is between your husband and you. Don't punish her for that. Imagine giving your partner grief and taking away something from your child because of the words of an a-hole 14-year-old kid. Strong agree you're the a-hole.